Hey, what's going on guys? Aaron from Top Tier Gaming here, and today I am bringing you another duel video between myself on the Machina deck and my opponent on the B.A.S.E deck. So I really wanted to show this game because I think this game is a really good game actually, where a lot of crazy stuff happens and a lot of insight can come from this game. And the reason I'm on Machina in the first place is we actually have a Houston regional coming up in 2 weeks from now, previous to all the regional stuff I just uploaded. There's another one coming up, and this is actually one of the decks I'm considering taking right now, so a lot of stuff for me to go back and watch and sort of learn. There's a few options I'm juggling between, but this is one of them. And I just think this deck is absolutely crazy, and I just want to show sort of what it can do. So yeah, before we get into it, I do want to let you guys know Discord and social media links down below. If you want to keep up to date with what we're doing and follow the channel, you can check out the Discord down below. And if you do like these duel videos where I give my insight and sort of how I'm, sort of my thought process as I go into these and, things like that, be sure to like this video, subscribe. No face cam today. There's some issues going on with certain technical equipment I don't want to, deal with right now, i.e. my phone is charging and I don't want to use it to record. But either way, let's go ahead and hop into this game, as we did speak enough there. So we do lose the rock, paper, scissors, and of course we are on the Machina deck, so we're definitely a deck that wants to go first, so it's kind of unfortunate. Opening hands, we have Machina Overdrive, Torrential Tribute, Skill Drain, Urgent Schedule, Machina Gear Frame. This hand is bonkers, and it's one of the reasons I actually like this deck a lot, is almost every single card in this deck is just a blowout. It's so good. There's so many good one-of cards. Every card in the spell lineup is insane, and this hand is absolutely bonkers. Our opponent opens up Xamin, Ghost Bell, Ash Blossom, E-Telly, and Dasher. So they do open the Dasher. Of course, their deck is running 15 bricks, so fair enough seeing only one brick. 2 hand traps, E-Telly, Xamin. I would say this is an okay based hand. It didn't open Brave, and it didn't open Red Rose or anything. But of course, it is 60 cards. So hopping into it, our opponent is going to lead off here. And they're going to start with an Emergency Teleport. Of course, it's good. We don't really have any hand traps in our Machina deck, so that's normal. He's going to special Xamin, which, now that I'm looking back at his hand, it tells me he might not be on Madam Spider, because normally that's what you would grab here. But he's going to activate Xamin, search the Foxy Tune. All this is good, and then he's going to normal summon Xamin, who's already activated, so we just know he's going straight into Halki Fibrax. Halki Fibrax effect. It'd be really nice if we had an infinite impermanence here, but we do not. It's the only hand trap we do play in this deck. So we are just going to see based combo here. Go Auroradon, summon the tokens, bring back 001. Wish there was a way to click through this without my mouse being so loud, but it's just the way it is. Go make Yazi, go ahead and use Auroradon. Pop the Yazi effect. Special the Mermare. Use Mermare, special 3 tokens. And he's just going to do those one at a time. And then he's going to synchro the Mermare and the Auroradon token and make Shooting Riser, and that's because Mermare was a level 4 and the token was level 3. Shooting Riser effect, dump the Fairy Tale Snow, making the Shooting Riser level 4, or level 3, excuse me, and then he's able to go into Cupid Pitch with the Mermare token. Cupid Pitch effect, he's going to make it level 7, and then he is going to, it makes it level 7, yeah, and then Synchro for Savage. Cupid Pitch effect, he's going to burn us, and then he's going to search, and Savage effect to equip a Link, pop the Auroradon more than likely because it's just the biggest. He's going to add Hop Ear Squadron, which is really, really good. I take the 800 there, and he's going to pass here. So he ends with Savage, Hop Ear Squadron, and 2 hand traps, which, is pretty good. It's nothing super crazy. He couldn't make DPE with it. I feel like he should have been able to make DPE, right? Because you could just make the token into a Link Spider and then pitch Foxy Tune, add some back and make Verte. Not really sure why he didn't. Maybe I'm missing something here. Maybe he's locked into something just looking over. Could be wrong, but so we're going to draw out Torrential. So again, our hand's insane, but we're going to summon the Gear Frame hoping he Savage negates so that our Urgent Schedule is cleared up, but he does Ash. So we're going to go Battle Phase here because there's no use in activating the Urgent Schedule if Savage is just going to negate it. We're going to swing at the token. Main Phase 2, we're going to set some cards. And this is something I want to talk about because I think this play isn't great. I just go ahead and set 5. My thought process while playing is, there's no way he has Satellite Warrior in his extra deck. There's 0 chance. No one's on Satellite Warrior, which I didn't know if that was actually true. I mean, some people are on it, some people aren't. But this is not playing around Satellite Warrior at all. And if we read Hop Ear Squadron, I don't know why that word is so hard to say. it's during your opponent's main phase. So what I can do is I can set like my 2 best cards, right? Like let's say we set Skill Drain and Torrential, because that's pretty good, or like Urgent Schedule, Overdrive, anything like that. But we need to set Skill Drain along with them, more than likely, just so we can negate the Savage next turn. Then he hop ears in the end of main phase, or I just keep my cards. And it's not such a blowout, right? But because we set all of ours here, we're not playing around Satellite Warrior. So he is just going to end of main phase to activate the Hop Ear Squadron, special synchro with the Savage Dragon, make Satellite Warrior, because Satellite Warrior only takes a tuner and a non-tuner synchro monster, and it is level 10, so that does work. And then he's able to pop 4 back row because he has 4 synchros in his graveyard, which is absolutely insane. And then it gains 4,000 attack. So yeah, we did not play around that at all. Like, we probably should have tried to play around it. But I was just like, there's no way he has it, right? So we're going to activate the Urgent Schedule because it was popped. A lot of people don't even know that effect about Urgent Schedule. But yeah, if it's destroyed, you can add a level... If this card is sent from the field of the graveyard, you can add a level 10 machine monster from your deck to your hand. So that comes up very rarely every now and then. So we do add the Citadel because it's our only level 10 machine in this list. I have a list playing a Super Express Bullet Train, so I'm just deciding whether that's worth it or not. But yeah, he absolutely blows us out here. Now, we do have a set Torrential left, which is pretty good. I mean, if I'm going to keep one card, I'm glad it's Torrential. So yeah, we just passed there. But he does top deck into the Foolish, which gets him into Brave. And at that point, I'm like, yeah, we're just going to have to hit the token. And I think I just preemptively scooped there. I just don't see us really winning that game. Like, we would need an amazing top deck, and I was kind of salty at the Satellite Warrior. So we do just scoop it up there. Good chance we just lost that game instantly. But we're going to open up our hand in game 2. Machina Gear Frame, Called by the Grave, Skill Drain, Strike, Scrap Recycler. So again, this hand's really good, especially go first. The only downside about this hand going first is it's game 2. And we, of course, sided in cards like Huge Revolution and Solemn Judgment to protect us from things like Lightning Storm. But we don't see any of those cards at all, so we're just hoping here. Now, he is on 60 cards, so for him to draw his like Feather Duster in the side deck would be quite the feat. But he opened Ash Blossom, Griffin Rider, Magician Souls, Veiler, Water Enchantress. So pretty good hand. I mean, Griffin Rider is like the only card you wouldn't really want to see here. I mean, I would say this is a good hand. Nothing crazy, right? It's not like Brave plus Red Rose, but it's pretty good. So we're going to start our turn off. We're going to normal summon the Gear Frame activate effect. He is going to affect Veiler. We're going to Called by the Grave very, very quick like because we really want this Gear Frame to resolve. We're going to add the Unkla Spare. We call him Uncle Sparse, but Uncle Sparse is going to activate, and he's going to send probably Citadel. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. If I had a big one in my hand, you could send like Fortress, but yeah, we're just going for the very standard first turn, Gigant. He's going to Ash the Gigant, which is like fine by me. I set Skill Drain and Strike, so it doesn't look like we end on anything super crazy, but we do have Strike, Drain, the Citadel, and Grave, and I think that's enough to stop 3 cards in hand. Most of the time, it just sort of depends, but he is going to activate the girl here, Enchantress. Now, we could have striked that, but it's just like tough because he could have right in hand and then we're hard punished. But Draco back is really good, so in retrospect, I do think that like dealing with the potential for him to get Draco back when we have Skill Drain is very important. So I think in retrospect, I might have striked that because, again, Draco back is really, really good. Like, he could just normal summon anything here, get Draco back, bounce the Skill Drain, and, you know, play, right? So, yeah, I think in retrospect, we do just strike the Enchantress. He's going to go ahead and Magician Souls. I'm thinking about striking there as well because I'm like, well, again, Draco back is a problem, and that card's really good, so maybe it's worth it. But yeah, looking back, I do think we should have striked the Enchantress just to protect our Skill Drain because it makes it much harder for him to have Draco back in his 60 card list. He's going to activate Fateful Adventure, add Water Enchantress, dump Draco back, re-equip. All very standard stuff. And now that Draco back is equipped, there's nothing we can really do. He's going to bounce our Skill Drain here, activate the Magician Souls, and send. And then I'm going to choose to strike here, which again is not good because if I was going to strike here, I should have just striked the summon effect in hand. So yeah, definitely a couple misplays on my part here because I was just thinking previously, and in the game he was going really fast, and once he summoned I didn't really want to say, hey, go back, I was thinking, so we just let it happen. But definitely should have striked the hand effect, I think, because then it puts him on having a normal summon that he can add the Draco back with. But yeah, he is going to make Verte Anaconda with those 2 monsters, being the Magician Souls and the Water Enchantress. He's going to dump the Fusion Destiny, dump the bricks, And he's going to make Destroy Phoenix Enforcer. So things are not looking great for us, right? He has a negate. He has DPE, which is just a load of follow-up. We have a known skill drain in hand. He's going to pop the Gear Gigant because, I mean, he just wanted more damage in battle phase. But we're going to get to activate Citadel off of that. And he's going to Griffin negate it. And that's what we wanted. We really wanted the negate gone. That was the most important thing. So he's going to swing for 4,500, which is just a terrible number for him to actually have here, because it puts us at 1,000, which means skill drain isn't able to be activated, which is terrible. We do draw Overdrive, which is really good with the Recycler, but of course there is a DPE we're looking at. But this Scrap Recycler is just such a good card, being able to dump the best card in the deck for sure. Machina Ruin Force, this card is a house, and one of the reasons to play this deck is how absolutely obscene Machina Ruin Force is. So we're going to banish Uncle Sparse, and the Citadel, and Special Summon Ruin Force. Instantly putting our opponent in just such a very strange spot, because DPE does not have a good time versus Ruin Force, or even versus a lot of the Machina stuff. So yeah, we are pressuring very heavily now with a 4,600 body that can summon Citadel and Uncle Sparse back. He's going to pop the Scrap Recycler, that's fine, not a big deal. It puts DPE away, and I'm like, sure. We're going to go battle phase, and we're going to swing for 26. And now we're in a position that's, like, pretty okay. He does have, I believe he has Enchantress Engrave. He has the DPE pieces as follow-up. So we're definitely not out of the danger zone. I mean, he has DPE, draw 2, Brave Engine back. So we're definitely in a little bit of trouble, especially if he plays 2 Faithful Adventure. But we're going to set our trap cards and pass on Ruin Force, which, you know, makes me feel a little safe just because Ruin Force is a very powerful card who's going to bring stuff back when he dies. So he's going to banish the Enchantress, add the right, activate the right, special summon token. He does play 2 Fateful Adventures, so he is going to activate Fateful Adventure. He's going to set, and then he's going to activate the Celestial to draw 2. And his draws actually aren't good if I remember when I watched this back. Yeah, it's just another Small World, which he already has set, and a right. So his 2 draws, although they were free, they were like the worst draws in his deck, except for actual bricks, because he already had used both those cards. He really needed any monster in his deck so he could use the Small World. So good for us that he didn't have it there. Of course, he can get it with the Fateful Adventure, but at this point, I'm more worried about Griffin, so my objective is to use this Machina Overdrive just so I can make sure I get all of my effects before Griffin comes out. So he's going to DPE and pop the target, which means Overdrive will not resolve. However, on New Chain, well, Fateful is going to resolve, and then on a New Chain, DPE and Ruin Force are going to activate. Ruin Force is going to special summon the good banished Citadel and the Uncle Sparse, and he's going to special the Griffin Rider, as he did already activate the effect. But Uncle Sparse is going to dump Fortress. We definitely did this out of chain. That's not how the chain like resolves, but we were just going fast. I knew, or I guess he knew he didn't have anything to interrupt me, and we just were able to just sort of do our things. It says he activated the Griffin Rider, but it's not on field. And he also didn't discard off a Fateful Adventure, I'm realizing. So this is what happens when you play fast on Dueling Book. People miss effects. I'm like 90% sure he didn't discard anything off that Fateful effect. Yeah, and then Griffin's also not on field. So there's a lot of things going wrong with what just happened, but it's not like the biggest deal in the world because he's just going to activate Griffin. Essentially, he just forgot to discard, which sucks for me, but it's not the worst. He goes end phase, and I'm just going to try to force... let me just make sure, like, okay, I just want to make sure it didn't negate their effects really quick, and I knew it didn't, but I just wanted to make sure. I was thinking of urgent schedule there, but we're going to force this Griffin by activating Citadel because we don't want to deal with a negate on our turn. So we're going to draw, and it's a Rivalry, which is a really good card. The skill drain is still not able to be activated. And again, this just shows how good Ruin Force is because he's just here forever. Like, he was dealt with last turn, and he's just back. And he can just do the same thing repeatedly. It's actually so broken. So DPE, I'm going to summon back, and we're just going to go main phase and summon our guy, Ruin Force, who is actually just so ridiculous. Banishing Fortress, Uncle Sparse, and Gear Frame. At this point, I'm going battle phase. It's my only play, and he's like, that's fine. He doesn't want to pop Ruin Force, and he doesn't want to take the damage on token. He knows it's a set skill drain, so no reason to pop that. So he's going to sacrifice his DPE, because once he lets Ruin Force in battle phase, he can't use any of DPE's effects. So really tough for him. He has to let DPE go there. We're going to activate the Overdrive as it was popped last turn, or it attempted to be used last turn, but it didn't get to resolve. We're going to send back the Gear Gigant, the Scrap Recycler. Ooh, excuse me. And the Banished Gear Frame. And we're going to draw a Judgment. Absolutely one of the most broken draws we could have had. We're going to go ahead and set that. He's going to draw Effect Veiler. Activate Faithful Adventure. I'm about tired of this card, to be honest. It just keeps activating every turn. And we don't really have the best out to back row besides Zeus. But of course he's going to activate the Griffin, and we're going to chain Rivalry, which is super huge because his Draco back is gone unless he plays 2. And I don't think he has a fairy to summon. So he's going to Small World. Look in his deck for anything he can do, get rid of the Griffin, realizing he doesn't have a fairy, and he's going to scoop there. So we're going to go into a game 3, and of course we are going second on a very trap-heavy deck. Now, we do side pretty heavily for go second, but yeah, this hand is insane, and this is what I'm talking about. Like, you look at this hand, and this deck just has so many blowouts. Like, Machina Redeployment's a crazy card, Urgent Schedule's a crazy card. If you get to Citadel and Fortress, it's so good, go second, and like, all of this plays around Scythe. IDP's crazy, Gear Frame's crazy, but yeah, look at the hand. Gear Frame, Redeployment, Citadel, Urgent, Ice Dragons. This hand is insane going second. And then going first, he has Snow Rabbit, Dasher, so drawing this twice, Ash Blossom, Souls, and the Foxy Tune. So I would say this hand's definitely really weird. I mean, it works. Uninterrupted, it works, because this is going to go into Hulk combo. But definitely one of the weirder hands. I mean, he is on base, so he does have like 15 bricks in his deck, so it's going to happen, but definitely a weird one for sure. He's just going to activate the Souls, dumping Illusion, which I think is kind of weird. I don't know if I would have done it like that. I think you can do it without, or I haven't seen what he's going to do yet, and it's been since, yeah, see, I don't know if that's what I would have done. Isn't it just better to, like, I don't know, save Souls, and then just Zayamin effect, search another Zayamin? No, or you can't search Zayamin, and I think we decided that he's not on Madam Spider, right? He's not playing Madam Spider is what we sort of assumed game 1. So I guess this was his only play if he's not on her. I think Madam Spider is so good as like an additional target, especially for situations like these. I don't know. Not like Magician Souls was great there. He doesn't have spells and traps, but just feels kind of bad that he couldn't activate Zayamin to get another search for another body. Halki Fibrax, of course we don't draw Imperm, so nothing to stop it there. But again, no complaining because this hand is really good. Gonna go full Auroradon combo. We're gonna skip through this a little bit. We don't have any interrupts, and he's gonna do his play. Gonna go Yazi, Auroradon effect, pop Yazi. Mermare. Mermare's gonna summon some tokens. And then he's gonna go for the Shooting Riser, which dumps the Snow. And one of the reasons I thought this was a really good game is especially game 2, where we were like really in a pinch there when we got put to 1,000 life points. Like I was sitting there and I was like, my opponent knows he won this game. Like going into game 3, I was like, oh my gosh, he's got to be wondering what happened, because it was definitely in his favor very heavily after the Draco back, after we like misplayed and didn't strike the Enchantress. Like definitely our bad, but yeah, so he still has the Hoppier and the Savage, but this time our hand plays around it a lot better as we just have blowouts, right? We're going to summon the Gear Frame, and he's going to Savage. We're going to Urgent Schedule, and he's going to Ash, which this just lets Redeployment be super, super good. So Redeployment, pitch Citadel, I mean, all of our blowouts being activated there, and just, you know, we're going to be able to play through this board quite nicely with adding Ruin Force and Uncle Sparse. Uncle Sparse effect, definitely going to go ahead and dump the Fortress. And that lets us pitch our Ruin Force, and then we have Citadel and Ruin Force engrave. Oh my god, like, Redeployment is so crazy in this deck. I'm going to summon the Gear Gigant. He's going to activate the Snow, banishing 7. And Snow, super good card. Definitely going to stop the Gear Gigant from getting us additional pluses. And more importantly, it's going to stop us from getting a lot of levels in our graveyard to summon the Ruin Force with this board as well. Because normally we would have this and Ruin Force if we were able to detach off of the Gigant, and we'd have a Gear Frame in hand. So Snow definitely coming in clutch there. We're going to go Battle Phase, and we're going to crash Fortress into the Savage. Take a little bit of damage, but then Fortress is going to activate as Chainlink 2, and Citadel is Chainlink 1. And then we're going to special the Citadel and probably crash into the token, if I remember correctly. Yes, because we don't inherently want Snow back engraved like that. And then we're going to set 2. You know, we have Ice Dragon's Prison, Skill Drain, Citadel. We have Ruin Force engraved, Fortress engraved. Like, he set up a board, and it just almost didn't matter because, yeah, our hand was crazy. So we're going to pass to him, and he draws Small World. I'm going to go ahead and I think he banishes Dasher here. Yeah, so just foregoing the ability to go DPE to go and get the Brave Engine. These match up by being darks, and these match up by being level 3. So adding Enchantress here. I'm assuming he's going to go ahead and activate the Enchantress. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'm going to activate Right. Asking what Gigan's defense is. Oh, okay, so he's just going battle phase and going to crash. Again, it's been a day since I've played this, and I don't remember the small intricacies, so I rewatched game 1 and 2, but didn't get all the way to game 3. He's going to activate the right here, get the Fateful. Fateful effect, go ahead, Temple, dump Temple, so not wanting to get rid of the Hoppier Squadron. He's going to... What? Did he just turn his token and Snow into Verte? That's not a legal play. If that's what happened, I definitely missed that while playing the game, and I caught it now, but there should be a Link Spider in this. I'm assuming he's on Link Spider, and he hasn't gone through it, so there should be a Link Spider engraved, but yeah. So he's going to summon the Verte, add the Draco back, activate the Snow, and at this point, I don't think he has enough to like use Snow again in response to this, so I'm just going to Ice Dragons the Snow. It saves my Citadel pop, essentially. And I'm going to take his Snow, and then he's going to summon Hop here, and that's where we're going to activate the Citadel, blow up the board, because I know all he has is Draco back in hand at this point, which is pretty good. He's going to attempt to activate the Enchantress, but he already used that this turn, so not going to do anything there. We're going to draw for turn, and it's another skill drain, so yeah, we have 2 skill drain. We do have Ruin Force, which is really good, but we're going to make an egregious misplay here that I want to make sure other Machina players don't do in the future, so yeah, this was definitely a big mistake. We know he has Draco back, so we're going to summon Ruin Force because that's a lot of damage. And the big mistake here is that we banish Gear Frame, Uncle Sparse, and Fortress. We should never, ever, ever banish Fortress here, because Fortress is really good because Draco back can send back the Ruin Force, and then we can just pitch Ruin Force for Fortress like it didn't even happen, right? Like, this doesn't play around Draco back at all. In fact, Draco back loses us the game now. Like, in the situation we're in, we just lose to Draco back. And I noticed the second I did it, I was like, oh, that was a huge mistake. So we just gotta hope here, essentially. There's nothing I can really link into with the extra deck I was running during this video, so fair play. He's gonna write, and at this point I'm like, dang, that Draco back is gonna hurt. So he's going to go ahead, activate the Fateful, add the Griffin, probably go ahead and dump Fusion Destiny. Or dump the Draco back. I mean, dumping Draco back is free, but like, Fusion Destiny is absolutely dead, so I mean, they're both for souls later. I'm going to go ahead and skill drain on his Griffin, because I just want to bait the idea that he could bounce skill drain back and not Ruin Force. That's never happening. He's always bouncing Ruin Force. But yeah, just to maybe bait, you know, we flipped it. At this point, Griffin can't negate, which is really good. And because we banished that Fortress, we need a top deck. If we didn't banish Fortress, it was just game. Instantly, there was no way he could come back from this game, but we made a misplay, so now we have to hope on a top deck. And we do draw Urgent Schedule, so we get absolutely bailed out here. Any Earth Machine would have done it, because even if it was like Gear Frame or Scrap Recycler, I could have just crashed them, or crashed whatever Earth Machine I drew into Citadel Summon from Grave, and then we're good. We're going to Urgent Schedule, summon the Anger Knuckle. Anger Knuckle pay cost, even though we're under Skill Drain, we're pitching Ruin Force for cost. Targeting the Citadel in Grave, because he's level 10. And then we're just going to activate the Ruin Force, and we're going to punch for game. And that is going to wrap this set up, and he's thinking if he has anything, but we can tell he doesn't. And yeah, that's going to wrap it up. I think it was a good game. Definitely good for me to go back and rewatch it, because I definitely made some misplays there. It was one of my first games with the deck. Like, I've had a little bit of like solo testing, but you know, it's really hard to... I guess I just wasn't used to playing around Draco back, because I made some mistakes there for sure. Our opponent definitely had some plays as far as his list concerns that I think were a little different. There's so many different versions of base that I can't keep track with them all. I don't know which version he's on. I don't know what his extra deck looks like. But yeah, that is going to wrap it up for this game. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, subscribe. And yeah, this was Top Tier Gaming. I almost said Yu-Gi-Oh! Rocks 97, my really old channel, but Top Tier Gaming. Bye, YouTube.